got your plates full. Mark it down here a little bit. Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
You're having a hard time connecting with people you like. I don't know where.
Well, we don't have to do it. That's all right.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm positive. Thank you. Oh, okay. Just leave it update then?
Yeah.
All right. Happy holidays, and welcome to the Rotary Club of Bearden. If you would, please silence your phones and pagers, any electronic devices, computers, telephones. Who's got the song pledge? I have the song pledge. Our song today, appropriate with the holiday season, is going to be Jingle Bells. Now, I've got a few sheets of music on your table, so you may have to share. But please join me in singing Jingle Bells. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells from Bucktail Green, making spirits bright. What fun it is to laugh and sing the sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey! Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey! I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And our invocation today is by Jim Katsianis. Dr. Jim?
Let's bow our heads, please. Lord, we stand before you in prayer today. We ask for your special blessing upon us as we are committed to be a real service organization to help humankind. May each of us in our daily routine come to know the joy of caring and sharing with others, not as fortunate as we are. And we thank you in this hour for this special season that you have bestowed upon us with the true gift that is the reason for the season. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Tiff Kenton's got her guest. It's right here. Oh, that's it.
Okay, we only have one visiting Rotarian today, and it's Dave Baumgartner. Dave, where are you? There he is, right back there. He's in the downtown club. Glad to have you.
Welcome, Dave. I was hoping you'd bring some donuts with you, but with Dunkin' Donuts. I guess you're too busy opening up stores as opposed to bringing donuts. So. Welcome. Happy holidays. And Gary McCarty has got our humor today. Now that I've officially a senior citizen and retired from one company, I thought I'd do a couple of older jokes. There was a distraught senior phoned a doctor's office. Is it true, she wanted to know, that the medication you prescribed to me has to be taken for the rest of my life? Yes, I'm afraid so, the doctor told her. Well, there was a moment of silence before the senior lady replied, I'm wondering then, just how serious is my condition? Because this prescription is marked, no refills. And you're just never too old to be quick and sharp on your feet. George Phillips, an elderly man from Walled Lake, Michigan, was going to bed when his wife told him that he'd left the light on in the garden shed. She could see it from the bedroom window. George opened the back door to turn off the light, but he saw that there were people in the shed stealing things. He phoned the police, who asked, is someone in your house? He said, no, but some people are breaking into my garden shed and stealing from me. Then the police dispatcher said, all patrols are busy. You should lock your doors and an officer will be along when one is available. George said, okay. He hung up the phone and counted to 30. Then he phoned the police again. Hello? I just called a few seconds ago because there were people stealing from my shed. Well, you don't have to worry about them now because I shot and killed them both. The dogs are eating them right now. And he hung up. Within 5 minutes, 6 police cars, a SWAT team, a helicopter, 2 fire trucks, a paramedic, and an ambulance showed up at the Phillips residence and caught the burglars red-handed. One of the policemen said to George, I thought you said you shot them. George said, I thought you said nobody was available. Okay, and while I've got the microphone, we're going to talk the Rotary family. It's kind of slow in the news. I do want to report that it was with Art Pickle last night, and while his back is still keeping him really from attending a lot of meetings and whatnot, he's still 100% Rotary, and just keep him in your prayers. And also noted that the Gay Lamar must be on a diet because she wasn't listening to anything in the galas this week. And and finally, we've got birthdays. Alan Smeltzer, his birthday is today. Wow. Jim Coffin is the 27th. And I'm covering 2 weeks of birthdays since we're not going to be meeting for 2 weeks. It goes all the way through January 7th. Justin Lyons is January 2nd, and Stuart Anderson is January 4th. What? I'm getting a new birthday? Apparently.
That's what you gave me on the list.
It's August.
Well, I'll make a correction on that because you gave me January.
Is it 4? Yeah. You got part of it right.
Okay.
I'll still take any present.
Well, your parents would be happy with that. You're no longer a travesty to them, and you didn't screw up their income tax deduction. Okay, let's sing happy birthday rather than listing all the names. We'll say fellow Rotarians. All right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rotarian. Happy birthday to you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Gary. I tell you what, we're getting better on that. That fellow Rotarians, we'll get that down pat. Have we got a update? I may have an update. Does anybody, how many people served on mobile meals today? Has anybody got an update on that? Mobile meals? Well, I have one update. Last Tuesday, Janice and I met with Judith Pilo at the kitchen, and CNS, the company I work for in Oak Ridge, brought over a check for them and presented it to Judith, and it was, I don't know how many entries they had, but they selected 4 to win an award or a gift from Y12, and Mobile Meals through Rotary Club of Bearden got one of those, so we were real proud of that, and it went well, so thank you. Applaud for what all we're doing. Okay, Pond Gap, any update, Dick?
No reading, of course, this Friday or next, January the 8th is the next reading event. We're full for that week, but the week following the 15th, we need somebody. Next week, I'll bring another pass around, and we'll fill up those slots more. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Haynes, you were going.
Let's go.
You know, this time of year, every year, we have a real special opportunity to recognize the folks here at the Bearden Rotary Hall, and it's a beautiful. I mean, it's beautifully. Look at the decorations and everything. And it's really Debbie. You guys do a great job.
Yeah.
So Haynes, I'll turn the mic over to you.
Hey, David, it's that time of year.
It is that time.
Yeah. All right, Susie, you still gonna receive anything today?
Johnny's got mayonnaise up to his elbow right
Yeah. It's likely excuse. Well, so for your excellent service throughout the year, we, Rotary, would like to present you with a Christmas cheer. How's that?
Thank you, we'll accept it.
You like that?
I do.
All right. You are, they are, whoever. The kitchen is Johnny. Johnny, where is he?
He's got mayonnaise.
He's done an excellent job in choosing his menus and doing a lot of good cooking. He's got help, Josh and Shane. Is that right? Yeah. And Diane, Susie?
Yes.
You've been here from day one, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, I tell you, we used to call her our girl Friday, you know, she did everything. And Susie, or Debbie?
Present.
Well, you're a late comer, but look at she's responsible for all this decoration on your table.
Thank you.
And Christy, not here today, is she? Well, that's it. And this is Johnny. Will you present it to
I
him?
sure will.
And Josh. I've got 10 sticks for fingers, you know.
You do mine.
Shane. Debbie.
Yeah.
You got 2 there?
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to use who's over there. Susie.
Oh, thank you.
Christy.
Thank
Happy
you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Don't have
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
I think people, it's a highlight of their week to come and eat the food here and enjoy the fellowship, so that's great. Thanks a lot for all y'all do, Debbie and Susie. Ray Fisher has got some real special awards to hand out for those that have sponsored new members into our club, right?
See, Buzz not here.
No. Okay.
All righty, first of all, we'll start with Oliver He is a, what'd you say the people?
Sorry about that, Oliver, we'll figure out something. Level one. Level one, sponsor. Oliver, he gets a pen and a blue vacuum. Blue vacuum. I'll try to explain. This is a new program. It's going to be hard to explain our way out of it. It's a new program that, thanks to Charlie Biggs, we're finally starting to incorporate. It actually started last year. So Oliver, the person you sponsored, when you did that may well have been in Gary's year last year. So, but nonetheless, your recognition came in and express mail, and we got it here. So if you would come forward, please. It's a recognition. It's a ring you put behind your pen. You can get a new Rotary pen, a past, present pen you can toss. But it's a backing that goes behind and recognizes you for sponsoring a new member. So
We got a good one too to boot.
yeah, we sure do. Thank you, buddy. Okay.
And also, we got Richard Bettis. He gets a bronze for 2 members. Bo Sutton isn't here today, but he's also bronze for 2 members. And then Mike Bailey, if you'll come up, Mike Bailey's actually got a silver for 3 members.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Good job, Richard. Thank you, sir. Oh, thank you, buddy. You're 3 members. So great.
Jury's out on 2.
I guess that's all for today.
Dick, I think your pen's in the mail. You got a new member too, so we'll just get
We got a single for you.
So thank you all very much, and thank you.
Appreciate the help bringing in new members. Keep it up.
We make it all. All right, thank you, Ray. Gary has would like to make a quick announcement. I saw you put a piece of food in your mouth, so I thought, well,
I'm good now. I'm good. Earlier this year, we set up the Bearden Rotary Foundation. And a couple things we're trying to accomplish with that was, one thing we can, we're now a 501c3, so we can take donations from corporations or whatever that are concerned about that. And of course, we set this up through Rotary International, and the reason we did that is to basically save the paperwork and the money involved in having your own foundation. So we accomplished those goals. We had to make an initial $10,000 deposit to start the foundation, but of course we can add to it, and we also control the funds in that foundation. Rotary does not, we do. But if we want to donate to someone, they have to be a 501c3. So if we give a grant to Pond Gap or whatever, as long as they have a group that's 501c3, they can accept that. But anyway, what I was going to say is for the people out here that you just made more money this year than you can stand, and you've just got it coming out your ears, your pockets, everywhere. If you'd like to make a donation to the foundation this year, get with me. In order for us to send our contribution up there, we have to have a minimum of $1,000, not from individuals, but combined. So that's all they'll accept, 1,000 or more. Anyway, but I've got the paperwork here. If you make a donation of $250 or more, Rotary will send you a receipt based on this information that you fill out on this form. So if you'll get with me today, and if you want to call me before the end of the year, I'll be glad to meet you somewhere, whatever's necessary, and I'll get those funds. But if we can get at least $1,000, then I can forward that up to Rotary, and we'll be good to go. So anyway, thanks.
Question?
Yes, go ahead.
Gary? I was going to say, this is unscheduled, obviously, but I'm just thrilled to be in this club, and there's some great folks here. I have had just a wonderful time getting to know everyone.
Projects and ideas that came out of that visioning to probably run 4 or 5 clubs. for 4 or 5 years. But we spent a little time looking at some of those things that maybe weren't necessarily projects themselves, but more or less goals. For instance, one was having all children in Knox County read on a 3rd grade level. Well, that's not something that it's a project that we could necessarily undertake per se, but it's a good goal that we might want to strive to help attain. So we focused on trying to narrow down a few things with that cross section of folks with leadership and experience in the club. And the list that you have in front of you is what we came up with, because I realized that not everybody participated in the visioning, and it's been my preference that, and the committees as well, and I think the board's preference to have input from y'all as to what ultimately would go to the board. And what you'll see in front of you are the projects that we kind of came up with. And I just want to hit on a few things and point out, some of the new projects that seem to have a lot of steam in the visioning and also with the committee. One of those being, if you look, I'm going to kind of jump around a little bit because they're in order based upon category, not necessarily on whether they're new or existing. But just to highlight, under community service projects, and I think Todd Wolf may have come up with this idea, or it might have been you, Steve. I don't remember. Whoever came up with the idea of doing the Honor Air Vets, that's a new idea that we've not done before. There seems to be quite a bit of interest in doing that. You'll notice out, excuse me, to the right of that, we come up with an estimated amount of funds of what that would cost to send 2 veterans to Washington using the Honor Air Flight System. If any of y'all are familiar with that program, that does not include, obviously, the chaperones. It would just be for the veterans. We've also examined the idea of placing Rotary signs around the Bearden area, working with the Bearden district on doing that. That's towards the bottom under miscellaneous. That idea came from Gary West. Another one, I guess, that's of note, that's new, that everybody seems to like is partnering with Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. Now, I will say this: if any of y'all are familiar with that program, and Rosa actually sits on the board here in Knox County, it's a very, very expensive program to participate in on a full steam level. I mean, we would. It's our recommendation at this point to get into that kind of at a more modest contribution at this juncture. What did you say, Rosa? It's like maybe $19,000 a month.
It would cost $19,000 to give out to the children in Knox County. And one of the misunderstandings is that, the Dolly Parton pays for it, she does not. So Dolly Parton, what her program does, she does it for Sevier County, she does not do it for Knox County. And what she does is she provides the books at a reasonable price. They go out and purchase them, but Knox County, all Imagination Library groups have to buy the book, and we pay for them. And all the money that Imagination Library collects, all of it goes to buy books. Whereas because there is no overhead, the overhead is covered by the Knox County Library. So there is no overhead. All the money goes to pay for the book.
Okay. Thanks, Rosa.
Yeah, the books are sent out to the children. I don't know if you're familiar with the program. Basically, it's from from baby infancy all the way up to age 5, and the books are sent to all children that are signed up. In Knox County, we've got about 70% of the children signed up, and they're free, and they're sent to them specifically. So obviously, we've got we do have information stats that show that obviously children start to read from a very young age. They're going to do well and continue to do well in school.
Okay, thanks, Rosa. I'm not going to belabor the list too much. You all who've been here long enough to know what's existing and what may be new. I would draw your attention to a couple of other things really quickly, though, before we open up the floor to questions and comments. And that is the dictionary project for Knox County third graders. The recommendation from the committee is that we continue that project for the next year, but that the project be evaluated. And we can talk about that in the discussion comment period in just a moment. But I do want to point that out to you. Everything else is pretty well self-explanatory, I believe. I don't think there's really anything in terms of just totally flat out stopping that we're doing now. Now keep in mind, the reason we're coming to you guys now is you may say, well, and the majority of the group may say, well, we don't like this list and we want to come up with something else. Again, the overall intent and purpose behind this was to give some direction to the fundraising committee that Helen Hart is spearheading. So the idea was, well, if we know what projects we want to do, it'll give us a better idea of how we go about raising money for those projects. Gives us a little bit of a direction and purpose. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and open it up to questions or comments that you may have about any of these projects. If there's anything on here that just nobody wants to go with, let me know that. Also, if there's something on the list that the group thinks that should be on there, we're happy to put it down. Now, this is kind of being presented in a voting or approval type format. So the reason why I've given you this form is over to the right-hand side that says present to board. If you don't mind, check which ones that you, and this is not by show of hands, this is by individual voting. Choose the projects that you would like to see go presented to the board. And I'll go ahead and open it up to questions. Yes?
Just real quick, I see that the budget down here is $24,250. Is that money readily available for next year? Is that the funds that we have?
I don't know the answer to that. We got somebody in here who's...
Or is that just the total of all the project costs?
That's the estimated total project cost, not counting, if you look on this, there's an asterisk down at the bottom, okay? This does not include those case-by-case basis projects. So that's not going to include South Sudan projects or heart-to-heart or sponsoring members going abroad or sending a participant to Rotary.
Okay, so those are additional.
Presidential conference.
So those are would be additional.
They would be additional to this $24,250.
Okay.
Historically, we spend about $30,000 on projects, but that would include all of the above, including South Sudan and Heart to Heart, which runs about $2,000 a year. So, and there's a couple other things that we historically fund, like Friends of the Smokies, which is not on here, and so forth. So,
okay.
But my question is, Andy, with our fundraiser last year, are we going to have $30,000 to spend next year on these projects?
We should have enough backlog where we can finance the $30,000 next year, but it's going to come pretty close.
We've had some surplus in past years that will allow us to spend $30,000 this coming year. But then, this year, a fundraiser this year will be important to be able to support the following year.
Okay, so it's critical that we have another good fundraiser.
Yeah.
If we want to continue this type of spending in the future.
Absolutely, and the intent is to come out of this meeting, that this information go and be used by the fundraising committee to say, okay, exactly what you're saying.
Right.
Okay, we're gonna have to come up with $30,000 going forward. How are we gonna do that? Or is there another project we want to see on here that's another $20,000? How are we gonna come up with $50,000 in fundraising efforts? Turner?
Well, we're all sitting back here in the dust seats. I didn't hear a word they said up there, but I was going to ask, what is our reserve right now? Was that answered earlier?
It was not answered to a T, and I unfortunately don't have that information.
Well, Ted, you don't know that?
This is what Ted knows.
I can speak a little bit.
Okay, well, I'll let Ted talk about more.
Just so everyone can hear me, we do have a surplus that's built up over time. We did not raise as much money last year on the fundraiser, but we still have surpluses from the past years. We do have $30,000 available for fundraisers for the coming year. Reserve, it all depends on what you're going to define the floor as, how many months' expenses, so it's hard to say, but I think what's important is we do have $30,000 available for fundraisers for next year from all sources, but that includes South Sudan. That includes, Heart to Heart, which is not on here. And just as an aside, I quickly count up about $7,200 that's new money on here, those things that we haven't done before. But, reserve-wise, we're okay, but by the same token, as Andy said, it's going to be important that the next step, Helen's group gets together and plans out a fundraiser that either we're going to do in this spring or start the following year and determine what we're going to do this spring to help support next year.
You say next year, you're talking 2000.
Well, I'm really, we're going to have to do something this spring to support next year, but I guess, really the better way to answer whether we have funds is last year's fundraiser and surpluses we've had from prior years to offset it enable us to spend roughly $30,000 on fundraisers in the current year that we're in. Projects, projects in the current year that we're in. Whatever we do this spring will help support fundraisers projects, that we would do in the following year.
One final thing real quickly, that is the dictionaries, by far the biggest expense is dictionaries. Right?
Correct.
I would strongly advocate continuing that, despite its expensive. My experience has been very positive.
Okay.
Back over.
Well, before I start taking any additional questions, let me just make one other general comment, and that's this. Now, I don't want you guys to get hung up on the fact that this list has an amount of $24,250. We were charged as a committee with coming up with a visioning wish list for where we want to see the club going over the next 3 years. So it could very well be that out of this discussion, there are some of these projects that don't happen in the next 12 months and get tabled for the very reasons that are being mentioned. So that's why we're having this discussion. So again, I don't want you to feel like that we're hamstrung to this particular number, because obviously the board has not approved any of these projects as we sit right now that I'm aware of going forward. With that, yes, sir.
We've been talking about projects for the next year. Are we talking about the next fiscal year, July through June of 2017? Are projects that we're in right now already budgeted and funded through June?
Yes,
So
they are.
these projects that we're discussing now are up for approval for July through June
Yeah.
of 2017.
Right.
That's correct.
That's correct.
This year's slate project's pretty much laid out,
So
and
projects
already
for-
financed.
Okay, so we're not talking about projects for now through next December.
Now,
Beginning July 1, 2016.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go out on a limb and just make this comment. I've been a member for about 24 years here, and I've never understood why our finances are so top secret. I think the membership should know how much money we have every once in a while. Well, why aren't we, see, we have to go to a board meeting to find out how much money we have? Can a financial statement be given to the general membership
Yes.
if he wants half a year?
We'll publish that. We'll put it on our tables or send out emails, whatever's preferable to everybody. It is not secret. It's just, we haven't got a real good handle on it right now because we haven't got an approved budget, but, which is my fault, but,
Hey, everybody, I won the gym.
I know it. He missed the meeting.
Phil? Y'all can have, let's get everybody's attention, please.
When I was president in 10 and 11, the dictionaries cost $8,000. And Turner about the same amount as you were president. That's 11.5.
If y'all don't mind, please hold it down. Go ahead, Phil.
When I was president in 2010 and 11, the dictionaries cost us $8,000. Now they're $11,500. I personally would just like to see a show of hands from everybody that believes we should continue that project next year.
I have a question on it.
I don't know if I can answer it.
Well, that was what I was gonna ask. I've been very active in it, and then the last 2 years I've given it out, and the people at Lonsdale last week said, we really appreciate these because they have picture dictionaries before they get these, and this is one of their first, they said, real adult books. But that was just Lonsdale. Do we have a comprehensive survey from whether or not they actually?
I can answer that.
Think it's a good deal for the
Well,
students or not? And
well,
and why has it gone up $3,500 in
Well,
that time? Is
excuse
it
me.
cost of the books, or is it because of the number of students are increasing? And I want to tack one thing on the back of that, like Jimmy said, when you put out something like this, also put down, this is normally what we have to spend as compared to past years, or it's going up or down, because otherwise we don't have a clue. But let's
Okay.
get back to the dictionaries.
Well, I'll make a few comments about the dictionary program and some observations. First off, keep in mind that we are, everyone in here knows our geographical boundary and how many clubs there are in Knox County. Notwithstanding that, the dictionary program that we have is servicing all of Knox County third graders. That is not getting any contributions from any other clubs, although I think it has been tried and not successful in asking other clubs to participate financially.
That's correct.
So,
That is correct.
that being said, the recommendation from the committee was, because this project has already been budgeted for the next year, or the upcoming year, I should say, to leave it in place, but to do a comprehensive survey to the end users, to the Knox County teachers and principals, and try to find out if A, this is the best tool for the school kids, or is there some other better technology resource that's available that they may be now using. As we all know, a lot of kids are using smart boards. But there's a couple of different issues. Obviously, the recommendation we're making is continue with the caveat, let's do a very comprehensive study on the program before we continue on further.
And I, as being on the committee, will say we wrestled with it, because it's a hard one, because it is so expensive, and because there are new technologies and new tools that can be used, and in checking with some of the schools, if you give them an option, would you rather have a dictionary for your kids or something else that would be around the same cost? They were really wrestling with that decision also. So not all of the schools, administration, teachers thought it was necessarily a good idea to go with the dictionary.
I'll make one other quick comment before I recognize Mike, and I want y'all to be aware of this too, those who participated in the visioning. The dictionary program didn't make the cut in terms of the votes at the visioning. That's why it's back on the list, because the committee saw fit to put it on there to open it up for discussions like this.
And we felt it was a sacred cow. So because it was a sacred cow, we wanted to be fair and let you all have a conversation about it, and not make us the bad guys and shoot down something that, is a sacred cow to you all.
I think Mike had his hand up next.
Alan and I this year, and I have each and every year that we've done this delivered dictionaries, have had a rather informal questioning of the teachers. And this time we were very consistent to ask each and every teacher at Cedar Bluff what they thought of this, and they were resounding in their support of this project, which surprised me that they were such support of it. And I had this theory that lower income schools might benefit more, but that may not be the case. But some of the pluses were that ownership, for one thing. She liked them to have real world books that they could hold, something you take home with them. But it was 100%. And in the years, every year, I've asked the teachers, every classroom, and it's always been 100%. So maybe we do that at more schools. Maybe we decide that we ask 3 quick questions of each teacher. Should we do this or not? If we should, why? If we should, what would be better?
Well, I think there's a couple of issues that you guys are going to have to decide on, and that is, one, geographically, do you want to continue to do it for all of Knox County, notwithstanding the fact that there are other Rotary clubs in the county? And 2, is it the right tool? I think those are kind of some of the central issues. Larry?
sorry.
It's okay.
Yesterday I went on RI's website, Evanston, and the dictionary project is listed on RI's website in community service. And I was fishing around, and I found a company in Charleston, South Carolina that sells the dictionaries. Does anybody know how much we pay for dictionaries?
We get our dictionaries from Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay, about $250 each.
Sounds about right. It went up this year or a year ago. But we get them from Charleston.
I wonder if they don't already own an iPad or something that they look words up on.
Some of the schools are going to Google Chrome. I think Pine Gap is getting Google Chrome. Oliver?
Yeah, one of the things that we discussed for 2 years was how can you also get co-sponsorship with things that we do. And I didn't see any bricks and mortar. One thing we discussed is one of the easiest ways to raise money is when you have bricks and mortar, like building a playground and things like that. It's easier to bring people in to put up extra matching money and so forth. That would be the only thing that I would, was probably want to consider as do one project where you could get maybe some other people to put in additional cash and double up on your on the size of what you're trying to do. I didn't, because that was a big discussion for a couple of years.
Okay. JP?
What about an option where the teacher can actually opt in? And that way, if you have schools like, I don't know, Farragut, I don't know if they use iPads there, but if Farragut uses a bunch of dictionary, or they have Google Chrome, they're not going to need a dictionary, so they can opt out. And you can go school by school, and that's going to reduce your cost overall.
Not a bad idea.
Sure. One of the benefits of this, though, is tremendous marketing for our Rotary Club. Our name's in there forever. Every year we go back, for us to go back to always Rotary, Bearden, whatever, West Oxford. It's a great marketing tool. That matters.
And
Bill?
one thing we need to understand is that the dictionary, 11.5 is already gone for the Rotary year 2015-16. What this pertains to is 2016-17. Okay? Just so everybody understands that.
Richard?
Yeah, I gotta agree with a lot of people. Your JP's got a great idea. I agree with Turner as well. Me and Adam, we go out elementary school. We got 8th, 3rd grade classes that we give these to, get them all together. We tell them a lot about Rotary before they touch these dictionaries. We ask them questions, and there's not one 3rd grader knows one thing about the Rotary. I think it's a wheel most of the time. I guess so it's a great marketing tool. So I think if we do nix this in the future, it replaces it something we still get back out to those schools. Just recommend.
Okay. Sam, I think you had your hand up.
I come across from this publishing company out in South Carolina, and they have what they call a dictionary that is really more than a dictionary. It's got some encyclopedia involved in it, and that costs $2.50 rather than $4.
Well, that's
Okay.
the same price.
Pardon?
That's the same price we're paying now.
Well, it's a different book, but it has a dictionary, but it also has some other facts in it. And I'm going to use that in Campbell County, and I think it's a good book. I'd like to present it to the committee who's doing the book project.
Get us one.
Can you bring a copy, Sam?
I have it in the car, yes.
Okay.
Charlie.
Yeah, one last thing is when you decide to query the teachers or the 3rd graders or whoever's responsible in that, to word that in a good way that you don't say, would you like to have these? Because the school teachers are desperate for whatever they can get from me.
Yeah, I've seen that.
What's the efficacy of what we're doing, and does it help, and that kind of thing. So be real careful how you word that, because they'll take truckloads of wherever you want to bring down.
Absolutely.
Two more questions.
Yep, then we're going to cut it off.
Well, I just wanted to make a pitch. I just wanted to say something about the dictionaries. A couple of things. You know, Mike, I appreciate you asking the teachers about the opinions. You know, a lot of times if you ask teachers in front of the class, they're going to tell you what you want to hear. And I'm not saying that they weren't genuine in that, but sometimes, and if you give a third grader anything, they're going to be excited about it. I think the benefits of the Rotary dictionary is sometimes more than just giving a dictionary something useful for kids. I mean, it really lets the Rotarians participate. You know, we actually get together and put the stickers in, and that's pretty cool for a day. And then everybody gets out in the community. I agree with Turner about, you know, it's great publicity. It really is. And Richard saying something about teaching the kids about, hey, Rotary is a group of business people to get together and try to do something good for the community. It really kind of puts that out there. But, you know, I think a lot of people do think it's expensive, and I do think it's kind of expensive. I mean, on this, it's 47% of the budget, and if we have another $15,000 fundraiser, you know, it becomes 75% of the budget. We've got a lot of great projects out there that I think could use a little bit of money. And so I do have concern about the dictionary project myself.
You know,
in my opinion,
$2.50 a book, though, we're impacting 4,600 kids per year after year, and they touch that dictionary possibly numerous years.
they do, you know.
Come on, let's get this up.
Let
One
me
more
just-
question.
One thing that came up at our meeting was to mitigate the cost, because we're in Knox County, why don't we lobby the other Rotary clubs in Knox County and ask them, maybe they don't have to go out and deliver the books or to do the stickers, but if we can ask them to maybe contribute financially to that, then it might mitigate the cost for us, and they will do it.
I have a question. I know we've tried that before. Do we know why they said no? Does anybody know why they did not want to
Their
participate?
budgets are just as tight. They don't
Okay.
want, they don't
So-
want. And on the publicity thing real quick, you know, we're getting local publicity, but look what the downtown club got a couple months ago when they donated a bunch of books to, I don't remember which library it was. I mean, they're in the News Sentinel. How many years have we been doing this, and we don't end up in the News Sentinel? It should be something where there's a picture taking thing where it shows Rotarians handing the book to the students, and that's what needs to be out there.
What's up, Dan Hart?
Well, no, that's not it. No, that's not hard. I'm just saying, but we need, if we're gonna keep doing this, it needs to get much more out there than just at the local teacher level. We need to get it out in the newspaper. 'Cause I'm jealous when I see the downtown club in the newspaper doing something that's in a sense less than what we've been doing for all these years. But we're not getting any, you know, PR for it.
We will next year if you do it.
Okay.
All right. Okay, well, we're gonna have to stop the question and comment period at this point. If you all will just very quickly, these are anonymous, if you'll just mark down over on the right-hand side, next to the projects, that if you want this, if your input is this goes to the board, then put a check mark beside it. And Rosa's got pens if you don't have one. Just take a couple minutes to do that, and you can turn them face down, and we'll be finished with this part of the program. Thank you.
Andy, thank you. Very well done. Let's give Andy a round of applause. It's tough standing up here answering the questions. You tell you're a lawyer. I tell you, you did great. But it was very well presented, and the bottom line is the board wants everybody's input. We're gonna do the best we can do with the most we can get, and most in line with what everybody wants. So, thank you all for your input. Have we got some tickets today, Mike? We probably do, but since we're not meeting for the next couple of weeks, we have several. Okay.
Take it over.
All right. We have a bunch of tickets today, so give me just 1 second here. What we'll start with, we have first, we have some Lady Vols tickets for Tennessee, Florida on January the 7th. And this is just general trivia, so it's not UT trivia. So raise your hand if you know the answer, please. What restaurateur kicked the bucket in 1980? Got it.
All right.
Bucket was the giveaway there. All right. Got 2 more tickets to the same Lady Vols game. This is a really odd question, but how many matches are there in a standard book of matches?
25.
No.
20.
You got it. Dick. Wow. Didn't take as long as I thought it would.
That's it.
Okay. All right, we now have a pair of tickets to Lady Vols versus Stetson on December the 30th. Actually, these are sooner than the other ones. I got them out of order here. Okay, geography question. What's the highest mountain in North America?
Kilauea. Kilauea.
Big Jeff. Mount McKinley. You got it. You got it.
Please raise your hand.
Yeah, raise your hand, please, so I can. All right. 2 more tickets to the same Stetson game on December the 30th. Going to entertainment for a second here. Who was Elvis Presley's manager? Larry?
Colonel Parker.
You got it. Colonel Parker. We'll save those for you. I'll bring it back in a moment. Now, for the first time this year, we have some actual men Vols tickets to give away. These are the January 6th versus Florida. Yeah, good game. Should be. Okay. What U.S. state is home of the headwaters of the Mississippi River?
Louisiana.
There? No.
Minnesota.
Minnesota, you got it. Those belong to Larry. And last question. One last question. 2 more tickets to Tennessee, Florida. What U.S. city is at the junction of the Allegheny and Monongahela rivers? Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. You got it. All right. That's it.
That's the only one I knew. Hey, do you mind? Now, these come with a restriction. You gotta go and you can't sell them. Give away, but no selling, okay? And these are great. Parking pass and Auburn tickets, Lady Vols. When is it? I don't know. Sunday, January 10th. Parking pass and Lady Vols tickets. I gotta come up with a trivia question. You got any more of those cards? Mike, you got any more of those cards?
Yeah. Let's see. May not be so easy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they can be tough.
Yeah, we may have to go with it. All right, entertainment world again. Who asked you to do the locomotion with her in 1962? Little Eva. You got it.
All right. 2 more. Yeah. Now this is the men's tickets for Florida game, Wednesday, January the 6th.
Okay. Geography again. What Pacific Trench is the world's deepest at 36,000 feet? Pardon? You got it. Marianas. All right. It looks like we have one last set here, which is January the 9th, Tennessee versus Texas A&M.
Men or women?
Men.
Men.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And this will be an easy one. What's Fidel Castro's brother's name?
Raul. Raul.
Jeff, you won already.
He didn't raise his hand.
He did.
Better than mine.
I don't know.